Hey guys, welcome to the Sports Stance Podcast with Greg and James. I'm the second part, and with me, as always, he's stealing secret plans to the Death Star. It's Greg Cowan, everybody. What's happening, baby?
Dude, I took him to Louisville. They pretty much begged me to give it to him. Petrino was like, I need those Death Star plays right now. You need to give them to me.
You gave him to the Wake Forest commenter because then he's just going to sell it to the other team. Boom! Roasted.
Yeah. Man, he is the worst.
Yeah, I don't really know very much about that other than I saw a headline on ESPN, and it said that a Wake Forest announcer was selling team secrets to it. I don't know. Just chill out, bro. I don't really care.
No.
Just like knock it off.
The worst thing is he was a coach, former player, like all these things. It's like, what did they do to you? You still have a job or announcing their games. Like, take it easy.
And like, what are people paying for secrets to beat Wake Forest?
What does the Heisman winner Lamar Jackson need to do to beat Wake Forest? Just show up?
Yeah.
Appear?
I mean, it's not, I think the last time the Wake Forest was relevant to me is that when Tim Duncan was there. Little perspective.
Last time they were relevant in football was when they had that guy Curry or whatever who went like third to the Seahawks and then was never heard from again. Yeah, and that was the last time they were relevant. I think they were like 7-5. So good job, Wake Forest radio guy.
There you go.
Ex radio guy.
Attaboy. Greg, we have kind of a light week this week. We don't have a lot to dive into. It's mostly just NFL and then a little bit of NBA if we really kind of feel like it. MLB is pretty stagnant right now. NCAA, we're waiting for bowl games. So it's going to be kind of an NFL-heavy episode. Go figure.
Yeah, because we don't know much about hockey, so we're not going to even bother.
Yeah, pass.
We could talk hockey. We're just not going to.
Yeah, I mean, the Bruins are bad. That's all I know.
I think the Devils are right there with them. So, hey, we talked our teams. That's a good job. Good job, James.
Yeah, exactly. But before we get into a full-on slate of the NFL action this week, Greg, how are you, man? What's going on? What's new with you?
Oh, not much. Just, getting into the holiday spirit more and more every week.
Yeah.
Getting that holiday shopping done. I think I'm pretty much done with everybody. I have to run out. I think you get one more thing for my brother, but it shouldn't be hard.
That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it is. It's nice to know when you're like done with everything. You can take it a little easier. The only other thing I've been dealing with all week, James, is how freaking cold it is outside.
Polar vortex, baby.
I don't know about your
vortex.
apartment, but my apartment is like an old house that has very little insulation. The windows, I'm pretty sure, are made of paper mache. And it gets really, really cold. I have like blankets pressed against the windows to try to block air.
It's
terrible.
My apartment, my room was the only room in my entire apartment that did not have heat. And it was going to be really, really sad going into this week with 20-degree temperatures. But luckily, the plumber got out there in time to fix the radiator. So
that's good.
I'm golden. My room's actually a little too hot right now. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, keep the bedroom closed. We have like the curtains that block the temperature. So, or like not the temperature, that block like air and cold air from trying to get through a little bit more. So our room gets toasty, but my living room is like 40 degrees, like anytime. Yeah, I have a heater on right now while I record this, so my feet don't freeze.
That's tough.
It is.
I hear you.
But enough about me and my sadness of living in the cold tundra and not having any. I can't even think of the animal that they cut open in Star Wars to, live inside for a night.
Tauntaun.
How are you? There you go. See, I knew you would know it because I saw you at Rogue One last night. So how was it?
Oh, it was really good, man. It was really, really cool. I liked it. If you're a Star Wars fan, I think that you're going to like it. I think that it's an interesting concept that they're doing now, where they don't do the full chapters. They do little standalone stories. So I thought that it was cool that it was just, a movie about Star Wars that didn't have anything to do with Jedi and didn't have anything to do with J.J. Abrams. It was just a cool movie. So I was into it, man. I thought it was really cool. Darth Vader makes an appearance. The whole theater cheered. It was pretty awesome.
Nerd boners went up everywhere.
Dude, there were a lot of nerd boners. Like, I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, hence me going literally on opening night to go see.
Yeah, I kind of assumed.
Yeah. So I'm a pretty big Star Wars fan, but man, people were dressed up. People were, cheering at certain lines. I mean, it was real, man. People got into it. So
I've only experienced that one time, and I didn't even realize how big of a deal it was. I went opening night to see the Avengers.
Oh
with
yeah,
with
yeah.
our good buddy Zach. When we were in college, and he was like, "Yeah, he's like, be prepared. People are gonna be like dressed up," and I'm like, "No, no, they're not." I'm like, "This is college. What are you talking about?" We showed up. People were like in Hulk costumes, Captain America. I was like, "This is weird."
Yeah, I mean,
I was like, "This is odd to me."
I'd never been to an opening night for a movie. I'd been to an opening night for other things. Like I actually waited in line at midnight for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox. Not to
It's
brag.
another thing that I've never done, but I've always been tempted for certain games, like Halo or something. I would just because it's one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play a lot of video games, but I really was into the Modern Warfare series, and so I waited in line at midnight for that one, and that was pretty cool. But this one, the first my roommate and I got to the theater, and the first thing that we saw was someone dressed in a full Chewbacca outfit. And I was like, this
Fantastic.
is going to be a little bit different than just going to see, Office Christmas Party on like a Thursday night.
And the movie theater you
Uh,
go to serves liquor, right?
oh
It's
yeah,
got yeah.
yeah,
So that
yeah,
makes
yeah.
it even better. Drunk Wookiees, Ewoks, people are going home with people that they just met. Uh,
Well, not
thinking,
quite that, Greg, but
oh, that's disappointing. I was hoping like
turns out
afterwards somebody to be like, "Hey, you look like Princess Leia a little bit after I've had a few too many. Want to go home?"
yeah, not quite there, but the movie theater
Damn.
bar actually is called McGuffins, which I actually really like.
Yeah, it's a great name.
It's a good name for a movie theater bar. But yeah, really good. Rogue One, thumbs up. They gets the sports stance seal of approval.
Nice. First one ever, just so you know. First one ever.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't give
Okay,
those
man.
away lightly.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Godfather, you don't get one. No.
The Godfather gets one, Greg. All
Okay. I
right,
was just trying to do a thing there, James. Thanks. Whatever. Fine. Let's get into sports.
let's
Fine.
get into sports. Stop with your movie critics. This is not the Leonard Maltin show. This is the sports stance.
We're not Ebert and whatever the guy was.
Roper, Ebert's
Yeah.
Roger Ebert's dead. Greg, R.I.P. Thanks for bringing that up. Sore spot.
Aren't they both dead?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Insensitivities abound. We're gonna get into it. Week 14 in the NFL is in the books. Couple things we want to touch on in Week 14. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna bring back an old favorite, classic old favorite, and we're gonna go most impressed, least impressed. So, Greg, out of all of the teams that you see out here, all of the players, coaches, units, divisions, anything. Most impressed, least impressed. What are you feeling?
Most impressed gotta be the Patriots special team. No, I'm just kidding. That was horrible.
Well, that's correct.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, okay. Probably most impressed. It was kind of hard. There was two teams that were, kind of blew everybody away. You could go easily with the Atlanta Falcons, who scored more touchdowns in LA than LA has all season.
Yeah.
With 6. But I think the most impressive game, unit, team in general this weekend, I'm going to give it to the Green Bay Packers as a whole. The entire team beating the Seahawks 38-10. A few weeks ago, people thought Packers were dead in the water, had no chance, couldn't do anything. Aaron Rodgers, not what he used to be. That defense is terrible. Still is pretty awful, but they stepped up for one game. And they took it to Seattle, the NFC favorite to probably, if anything, be the team that beats Dallas if it gets to that point. And, they spanked them. 38-10 at Lambeau. Rodgers, good day. 18 of 23 for 246 yards and 3 touchdowns. They have no running game to speak of, but that's fine when you have, Devontae Adams catching 4 passes for an average of 26 yards a pass. So when that's happening, things are going pretty good. And when Russell Wilson looks like he is lost and doesn't know what to do and throws 5 interceptions, yeah, it's a good week for them as a whole.
it's a good one, Greg. Okay, my most impressed. You were correct about the Patriots special teams. That is probably the most impressive unit in the entire league all year.
Yeah.
You could talk me into the Falcons defense as well. You could talk me into a lot of things. I'm going a little outside the box though, Greg.
Nice. I like it.
I'm going most impressed snow games. Oh, I love snow games.
Snow games are great. That's a good call.
Oh, they're so good. Every single time I see a snow game, I don't even care who's playing. Browns Bengals snow game, you got it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
I'm tuning in. I'm watching.
I'm in on all snow games, man. So snow games I am most impressed with. It just adds an element of something. I don't even know.
Hey, Browns, Niners fans, you want attendance up? Snow games every week. Make it happen.
Every week. You want to do a snow game in September? Just pump it in. We do that for the Mountain and Wachusett over here. So let's do snow games. Snow games only. And I will watch every single time. I'm a sucker for it.
There should be one week where the NFL just does snow games. There you go, NFL. Free promotion right there.
Boom. Beautiful.
People will tune in. Tuck rules galore.
Yeah, as far as the eye can see. Okay. Yes, thank you. I was thinking about that one for a little bit. Least impressed, Greg. Who do we see? Who are we going to put on our least impressed list this week?
Well, James, I told you before we even started the show, the Eagles made my bad list again this week. It's getting harder to watch them every week as a fan. They started off 3-0, and they have sucked ever since, and it's just bad. What made it worse is the Magic Man went down. And I don't even know if you know who the Magic Man is, James.
I don't actually. Oh, is it the guy, the center, the long snapper?
The long snapper, John Dornbos, went down this week. He played like 179 games straight for the Eagles. Never had another long snapper since he's been there. Do any long snaps, and that showed. He hurt his game. He hurt his hand mid-game. Had to be taken out, and a field goal situation came up. So they were like, "Hey, let's put in our backup long snapper, who's the tight end, Brent Selleck," and it did not go well. It did not go well at all. It was a terrible, terrible long snap. I think our kicker or snapper got literally pummeled trying to make something out of the play. Least impressed, Eagles backups for long snap. Take 10 minutes out of practice every week. Teach them how to long snap, just in case the Magic Man does go down, which he did.
That makes some sense.
Bad moves on the Eagles. Just get one guy just has to learn how to throw the ball between his legs like 5 yards. Is that hard? I think I could do that. Put me in.
Pick me up,
pick me up, Doug Peterson. You may not know how to call final 2-minute drive plays, but we'll talk about that another time.
Long snapper for the Eagles.
I'm a little angry, James. I'm sorry.
I hear you. I mean, if I was an Eagles fan, I would be too.
Plus, it's a good thing they taped the America's Got Talent holiday special with the Magic Man, because without his hands, he's nothing.
That's true. Yeah, he's a magician without his hands. He's lost.
Card tricks do not work with a cast.
Greg, every single time I go to talk, you interrupt me. What's happening here?
I'm sorry.
Let's no. Time out. We're pausing this right now. What's happening right now, Greg? Is everything okay at home?
I'm a little amped up. Everything's good.
My least impressed.
No.
If someone will let me. My least impressed. Oh, oof, my blood's boiling now, Greg. You got me all riled up. What's going on here? My least impressed it's got to be the Los Angeles Rams. It's got to be the Los Angeles Rams. There's nothing else. There's nothing else to say about them. They're a sorry, sad sack team. I was thinking about potentially putting the Denver Broncos in there because of their poor showing. Simeon somehow got yards when against the Titans. He threw it 51 times. That's probably how, but. I am going to just go with the LA Rams. They fired Jeff Fisher finally. Gurley has been held under 100 yards. He had their only touchdown. Not their only touchdown, but he had one of their 2 touchdowns that came late in the fourth quarter. That was after the defense had already kind of, beat Jared Goff to shreds here. Matt Ryan threw all over them. The defense of the Rams was supposed to be sort of at least semi-competent going into the season, and they've just been horrible. Lack of leadership, bad transition, putting a horrible, horrible product on the field for the Los Angeles viewing public. So, least impressed, LA Rams. Greg, they're 1-5.
Am I allowed to speak now?
Yes, absolutely. I feel good.
Right,
I feel good getting that off.
Good least impressed. Yeah, fuck Jeff Fisher. He's probably smiling. He got a 2-year extension like a week ago before they fired him because, LA is that smart. And hate Todd Gurley. He's on my fantasy team, and he's one of those guys that you got to start every week because he could have that big week. It might happen where he gets 35 yards and the Rams quarterbacks can't even hit him when he's wide open for like a long touchdown pass.
He's just not what he was a couple last year. I mean, he doesn't have anyone else helping him out, so it's quite tough.
And can we touch on, even though we haven't talked week 15 yet, but since the game happened last night, the Seahawks uniforms real quick?
Yeah, you didn't like the color rush?
I did, but it made me somebody perfectly to me on Twitter when I mentioned like I had to wear shades to watch the game because of how bright those uniforms are. They made it seem like the Grinch, which in my mind made me go, okay, I got to make a photo of the Grinch as wearing those uniforms, and yeah, it literally was like the same color as his face, so it blended in. It was weird.
They look like the jackets that people need to wear when they're cleaning on the side of the highway.
Yeah, they should wear those. I think they're brighter than those.
Yeah,
Make a lot. I think everybody that runs at night should be required to wear one of those uniforms.
Yeah, totally agree.
Nobody would get in an accident ever again.
This is the color rush thing. Sometimes some teams it works really well. I actually really like the Patriots one, the dark blues, the all dark blues. That was interesting with the red trim.
I think the Eagles are just like a black uniform with like neon green trim. So I'm like, that's not exciting. That's like what they wear every day. Yeah. Some of them are literally just like the same uniform the team wears. And there's like, oh, but the white's a little whiter. Like,
yeah.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah, the Raiders specifically. Yeah. You'd think that the Raiders would wear all black. I don't know. Whatever.
You would think they would have worn like a gray, like a dark gray or something. Something different.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Like a dark gray would have been awesome.
Anything else we want to talk about for week 14, Greg, before we jump into week 15?
Do we count the fact that 4 London games were announced as week 14 news? And how horrible that is?
Sure. Why is it horrible? What are we doing here? What's going on?
You don't like the London games.
I guess.
You like keep going back and forth between them. You like them, but you hate them. And the more they keep happening, it's worse.
Well, I think that they just don't give them the good games. Like which do you know? Do they schedule the games? Do they have specific games?
The games are scheduled. Hold on. I believe one of them is the Jaguars versus Vikings.
Okay. See, this is why I don't like London games, Greg.
Yeah,
that sentence that you just said.
Hold on. I have it here somewhere. I don't think I tweeted that long ago because Adam Schefter was the one that put it up. This invigorating stuff. It's terrible games. Whatever the 4 games are, we can keep going, and when I find them, I'll just tell you what they are.
I don't. You're gonna interrupt me. Is that what you're gonna do?
Probably at some point.
I don't like. I like the idea of waking up at like 9 o'clock in the morning and having football on. I don't like the idea of a London game that's just like a garbage game. Like that's
so bad.
That's where I'm at with it right now. Let's see here. Okay, so let's get into.
Hold on,
you got it.
NFL announces 4 London games in 2017, including Vikings Browns, Ravens versus Jaguars,
gross.
Saints Dolphins.
It's the best one so far.
And the Cardinals versus the Rams.
Those are just so horrible. Like no one, I wouldn't watch those games regularly.
That's exactly what I mean. It's awful. And so 2 of them are week 3 or 4, and one will be week 7 and one will be week 8.
Kudos to them for sticking the crappy games in London and making people watch.
Yeah, and then you're going to probably have a game in Mexico. So basically what's happening is the NFL is just slowly taking more and more games every year out of the USA.
Yeah.
Pretty sure soon it's going to be like the Pats have the only home games ever, and that's just because Roger Goodell doesn't want to pay for them to go see places.
Maybe they need to talk to Trump to bring their jobs back here in this country.
Yeah, seriously. Step it up.
Okay, let's get into week 15. We have some guest picks, Craig.
We do. So our guest picks have been doing pretty well so far, James, and these guys understand that. So guests have been 29-15 on the season. Pretty good. Much better than us, I would say. Maybe not you. You've been doing much better lately. But so we have Scott and Mike from Craft Brewed Sports. What they do is they talk sports every week, and they talk a new beer or, something along that line that they've been drinking. So, something we can get behind. If we didn't do these at like 8:30 in the morning, we'd probably crack open some beers every week too.
You're not drinking?
Well, I am, but it's not beer.
Gotcha.
It's something harder to wake me up in the morning.
Stuff, right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah. So, Craft Brewed Sports, check them out. Scott and Mike. They don't give a damn about Drake Night. That's what they want us to know.
Good.
So let's check. Yeah, I figured. So let's check out their picks.
Great.
I like it. I like how they both went against their like favorite teams.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, didn't they both say that they were 49ers and what were they? What
Cincy.
was it? Cincy fans? Like, what's going on here? You guys need to learn from the Patriots that your favorite team always wins.
Yeah, too
Oh, wait,
bad they went Denver over the Patriots. So
after watching what happened last week, I think that is the most egregious pick that they did so far, but we'll talk about it.
well, it's because they made a good point. The Patriots like are now on cruise control. It's what they always do every season. They kind of lighten up, and then all of a sudden they lose a game. And they're like, "Oh shit, that's right. We still have to play a game."
Yeah.
Especially right now.
Tell that to Trevor Siemian.
I will. I will get him pumped up for the game.
Let's get into these games, Greg. We right now we're in week 15. The Seahawks have already beat the Rams. Least
NFC
impressed.
West champs.
Yep. So let's get into the 1 o'clock games. We have a few that we're going to pick here, starting with 1 p.m. Titans at Chiefs. The 7-6 Titans are going into Arrowhead to play the 10-3 Chiefs. Kansas City is favored by 5.5 points. So, Greg, the Titans beat up on the Broncos last week. Do the Titans continue their run through the AFC West?
I'm going to go with yes, mainly because the Chiefs, yeah, they're good, but there's something about the Chiefs every year to me that I feel like they just falter just a bit too much, that they can't have something nice. Like right now, they're in position to have a first-round bye. So the Chiefs, therefore, it's not going to happen. They're going to lose. I'm going to guess they're not going to play as badly as Denver did, but I still think it's going to be, Mariota, I think, gets like at least 20-plus points on them. The defense looks a little wonky. Tyreek Hill, I think, comes back down to earth a little bit because he's been kind of off the wall the past few weeks. And I think they put up only around 13 to 17-point range. And take the L and give the Oakland Raiders back the first week bye in the playoffs.
I am going with the Chiefs in this one, Greg. You know I'm a Chiefs believer. I think they're one of the most complete teams in football. I think that Tyreek Hill is really helping them out. I'm actually I would be more scared of the Chiefs than any other AFC team currently, just because I think that they're exceptionally well coached. I think that they have some new weapons that they can kind of throw out there. I think that they have a good defense, and I think they have a balanced offensive attack. So I think the Chiefs are going to beat up on the Titans here. I think that the Chiefs have kind of even put themselves in conversation with like the Cowboys, the Seahawks, and the Patriots as the top tier.
Ooh, okay.
In the NFL. I would even go so far and say that.
I mean, it's not shocking. It's not making me, I'm not blinking at that statement, but
yeah, exactly.
Something about them every year. I feel like they just screw it up a little bit.
I hear you. I'm going with the Chiefs though. Okay, another 1 p.m. game. Lions at Giants. The 9-4 Lions are going into MetLife to play the 9-4. The 9-4 Lions going to play the 9-4 Giants. The Lions are 3-3 away, and the Giants are 6-1 at home, and the Giants are also favored by 4 points. So, Greg, what do you think is going to go on here? Do you think that the Giants are going to continue to pull games out of their ass, or do you think the Lions come in and actually show us something here?
I'm going to go with the Lions. Stafford, I think, literally set up, throw a pick six and give my chance at another fourth quarter comeback last week, which he did. And I hate the Giants, and it crushed me to pick them last week, even though I was right about that pick. But when I can pick against the Giants, I'm going to. And when the Lions are playing for a first-round bye for the first time in the playoffs and who knows how long, they need to, give everything they got, really put it out there. Stafford needs to be on his game. And I think after, putting down that Dallas offense last week, the Giants defense gives up a little bit more. Lions can air it out. They got some good receivers, and Stafford's got that big arm. So I'm giving it to Detroit.
Yeah, I want to give it to Detroit so bad. Apparently, it's going to be like freezing cold rain all day on Sunday in New Jersey. And if it turns into like a kind of defensive thing, I don't really trust the Lions defense. I keep underestimating the Giants. They're going to keep pulling these games out of their ass. I really don't want them to, but I am going to go with the New York Giants in this situation.
That's the thing. I just don't want them to win, so I'm going to pick against them.
I hear you. Okay, another 1 o'clock game. Colts Vikings. We picked this one because it's got some sort of implications for the NFC North. Also because the Colts actually surprisingly are not that far off from a playoff berth. Ugh,
No.
so gross.
It's the AFC South.
It is the worst division.
We just had to
in
shake
any
up the process.
It's bad. So Indy is 6-7, and they're going into Minneapolis to play the 7-6 Vikings. The Vikings are favored by 4 points. Greg, who do you think is going to win this game?
I'm gonna go with Minnesota. I just felt like I just came out with a really Minnesota accent there for some reason. Didn't even mean to. I think Adrian Peterson, is getting close to maybe coming back. I think they realize that they need to win these final few games. Sam Bradford maybe kind of looks like he did at the beginning of the year. And Andrew Luck and the Colts, they just don't have it to me. Their defense is never good. They have no run game to speak of. Luck has been really hit and miss, I feel like, this year. I think that defense for the Vikings steps up a little bit. When your coach is wearing an eye patch, you should be able to step up your game. So I'll give it to Minnesota. Begrudgingly, I'm going to give it to one of these two teams. I wish I didn't have to pick because I feel like it could end up in a tie. But I'll go Minnesota.
I think I was also going to go with Minnesota because I just have no feel for this game at all.
No.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Anyone who thinks they have an idea what's going to happen is crazy. I think the 4-point line is pretty accurate for betting purposes. I just don't have any idea. I'm going to go with Minnesota strictly because they're the home team, and no other reason.
Yeah, makes sense.
I think both these teams are garbage, and one of them is going to probably sneak into the playoffs somehow, and I don't like it. Okay, headed to the afternoon games. 4:25, the 11-2 Patriots go into Denver Sports Authority Mile High and play the 8-5 Broncos. Greg, New England's favored by a field goal. So what do you think is going to happen here? Patriots or Broncos?
I'm going to go, just because I know kind of what your picks are going to be, and I got to catch up to you in some way. I'm going to go Denver. I'm going to go with the Kraft Brewed guys pick reasoning. I think Patriots let up on the gas a little bit. No Peyton there. So, it's not going to be as amped up as it usually is against Denver. Von Miller, I think, is going to have a big game. He always tends to against the good teams in the NFL. You saw he stepped up in the Super Bowl. I think he's just kind of waiting to dance all over Tom Brady and sack him. Maybe give him a bottle of wine afterwards if he feels like it. And I'm going to go Denver. Simeon conjures up at just enough. Brock Osweiler-ness from last year and, leads him to victory.
Interesting. I'm kind of confused how you would see what the Broncos did against the Titans and would ever pick against the New England Patriots.
I'm a confusing man, James.
I don't really understand it. So Patriots will win this game. There's no other analysis needed. The New England Patriots will beat the Trevor Siemian at home. Yep.
Trevor Siemian.
Okay. Moving on. I was insulted that I have insulted that I'm the only one on this podcast representing the Patriots right now because this is an insult to all things football. If you
knew what you're getting into,
won't win this game. What?
You knew what you were getting into when you signed on for this podcast.
I guess. I just didn't realize that people would. I thought that we were going to be putting intelligent sports takes, Greg. My apologies. My apologies.
Let's get some sponsors, and then maybe we can. Good day, sir. One more game.
Okay, Sunday night game, 8:30. Buccaneers at Cowboys. The Bucks, 8-5, and they're 5-1 away. Interesting. That means that the Bucks are 3-4 at home.
I thought you were gonna say, what's the word? Road Warriors? It was gonna be like, yeah,
no,
pretty simple term.
The Cowboys also 5-1 at home are 11-2 and are favored by a touchdown in Arlington. Greg, tough game last week. Dak has been held under 200 yards for the last 3 games. There's a little Romo buzz. So what do we think here? What's going to happen? What are we going with Jameis? Or are we going with Dak?
Those scoffing sounds you heard when you mentioned the Romo rumors was me in disgust. Romo, you're not going to see the field this year unless Dak goes down. But James, I've been a Tampa Bay believer now for I believe 4 weeks now, and big fan. Really like what they've been doing these past 4 weeks. I've watched them, and I'm gonna go with Tampa Bay still. They got a good team. They got a good thing going right now. Doug Martin's looking good. Mike Evans is making some great catches. Jameis seems competent behind the line, and their defense has even been doing some stuff. I think the Cowboys have to come back down to earth a little bit before the playoffs, hit some bumps and bruises, face some adversity, not diversity. Going into this game, Tampa Bay does like playing on the road. They're not going to have to deal with weather. It's not going to be an issue of any sort. So I'm going with Jameis and the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dak. I think that they rebound from this last game. I think that they really should have beat the Giants. I think if Dez hadn't fumbled that one pass that he caught, they would have beat the Giants.
Dez caught it.
I know.
But then he fumbled.
So I think they were pretty close anyway. I think that they're gonna come back home. They're gonna kind of retool a little bit. Jason Garrett might hopefully wake up a little, and they will end up beating the Buccaneers. All right, man.
Yeah, I like it.
That was it. That was week 15 in the books. So This is exciting. We're getting down to the home stretch. Only a few games left in the season.
It's a big game. This is a big weekend for me, James. We only picked one game the same. If I can, get a good sweep here going, I can catch up to you. You're only ahead by 3. You're ahead by 3 games over me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, cool. So that's the NFL. Anything else you want to touch on real quick before we move on?
No. Do not want to get into that whole controversy stuff with the Steelers and the Giants. Now the Giants have like some walkie-talkie deflate gate thing going. Let's just skip all that politics stuff and move on.
Pass. Okay, there's not a lot else going on in the sports world, so we might end pretty early this week. But one thing that I did want to touch on at least is I wanted to say rest in peace, Chris Sager.
Yeah.
He was whatever you thought about him, he was a staple of NBA sideline reporting. Sideline reporting is a thankless job, especially in the NBA. In any sport, it's a thankless job. But going up and asking a coach the same cookie cutter question over and over and getting the same cookie cutter response is not the most glamorous life to live. So he added some real pizzazz and some real flair to it. He was a really bright presence, and he will definitely be missed on the side of the Turner broadcasters.
No, definitely. Craig Sager was I enjoyed watching him on the sidelines. Always loved whenever the Spurs got to be on, and seeing him and Popovich interact. It was just one of those great little, Pop and him just had a great little connection there, and it was always great to see. I still remember when he was out and his son took over him. Popovich was like, you did a great job, but I really wish your dad was here. And it just shows you how much he means to that community. And, this summer when he gave his speech at the ESPYs, I made sure I was able to watch it. And just great speech. People may have thought his suits were weird, but it was a part of his personality. And it was great. I couldn't pull off those suits, but he wore them, and he did it so great and never blinked an eye if somebody made fun of it. And just the spirit he had going through his battle when they followed him was fantastic. I have the one quote here that he gave at the ESPYs. I'll live my life full of love and full of fun. It's the only way I know how, and that's exactly how he did it. He loved what he did. He loved his family. Rest in peace to him. Cancer sucks.
Cancer sucks. Okay, we could talk about NBA. There's not a lot else going on, Greg. The Warriors are good. That's basically
it was one main storyline this week, apparently, with involved Memphis somehow. And the whole LeBron, Kyrie, Kevin Love sitting.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost like not news to me, just because this is what the Spurs have been doing for the last 4 years.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I want to know, as somebody that watches the NBA, you go to games. You Snapchat me whenever you're at the Celtics games, make me jealous. It was kind of interesting to know your thoughts and opinions on how people are feeling about that's pissed and annoyed, being like, this is BS. People pay money to see these stars play. It was their only trip to Memphis. Suck it up, play the game. You're getting paid millions to do so.
I think that
And then there's the other side.
So I think that there's something to be said. First of all, getting mad at LeBron is stupid. I mean, I realize that he's basically the calling the shots over there, but he's not the one that sat himself.
Yeah.
Second of all, I think there's something really real to be said about going to when you look at tickets for an NBA game. The Cavaliers and the Warriors are always the most expensive ones, and that's for a reason. It's because they're the best team. So when you go, the idea is you go to see stars. It's a star-driven league. I totally 100% get that, and I think that people who are at the game definitely have a right to be like, well, what the hell? Why did I pay this money to see to not see, the once in a generation player? I have bought Celtics Cavs tickets in order to see LeBron before.
Yeah.
Because I want to be there and I want to see, in person what I've seen on TV so many times. I think that it's also important to know that they're judged solely on, in the annals of time. In the short term, this really sucks. In the annals of time, they're judged solely on how well they do in the playoffs and how well they do championship-wise.
Yeah.
So in order to maximize their chances of winning those championships and of being judged favorably in that sense, they need to rest a little bit. LeBron has played more minutes, in the shorter amount of time than anyone else in the entire history of the league.
Yeah, 6 straight finals.
6 straight finals, all
And
the
then
regular season.
Olympics thrown in there 1 year.
Olympics.
That's a lot of playing time for somebody. He's taken, I think 65 games they said he's missed in that span, or his career or something.
I mean, he didn't take a year and a half off to play baseball. He's
Ooh, burn.
He's doing the full thing. I know that MJ is the greatest player of all time, and I know it's never going to really be close. And I'm not really a LeBron apologist, but I just say in this situation, just chill out a little bit, folks.
Yeah, relax. I mean, I think I tweeted out saying like, don't be mad at LeBron. If anything, maybe Kyrie and Kevin Love, you can be like, hey, you guys are young. You should be still playing. Yeah. LeBron's been around the block.
Yeah, I agree.
But it's the whole thing that bothered me about this was people getting so mad about the money they were paying and not getting to see him. But then my mind went to even baseball. So you have the big guys like Clayton Kershaw. You might want to see him pitch badly. But say the Dodgers come, you buy tickets. Say they came to Boston. That was their only trip to Boston the whole year. And Kershaw didn't pitch any of those games. Are you going to then come out and be like, BS, I wanted Kershaw to pitch. They should have pitched him on short rest so I could see him? No. You get what you get. Sometimes you can't control the variables. And Memphis fans, suck it up. NBA fans, stop crying.
Yeah, agreed. All right, man. I think that's it for us this week. I don't have anything else that we want to touch on. This is a short week. We're getting into kind of like the holiday season, so kind of winding down for the end of this year. But maybe we can do something a little special for the end of the year pod.
Yeah, maybe we come out with some lists next week.
Yeah, I love lists. I love lists.
I know. Maybe we do top holiday movies or something for us, or we'll figure it out. Sports related, maybe not.
Yeah, something fun.
We don't know when exactly will happen. It could be Friday. It could be not. We'll figure out our schedules. We'll work around Santa. We'll see if he wants to get on this. Maybe have Santa guest picks next week.
Santa guest picks. We'll think about it. Okay, cool. So from all of us here at the Sports Dance Podcast, all the producers and all the directors and everyone, the sound engineers, all the craft service people, all the people that got me tickets for Rogue One last night, we thank you. From us, we thank you.
Yeah, good job, guys. Way to stand in that polar vortex for James. Saw you get him tickets, but not me, so I see who the favorite is. And thanks to the guys at Craft Brewed Sports again for doing the guest picks. I got to thank my assistant. She still stands by my side and brings me a bagel every morning with schmear.
Good.
Just because. She at least likes me. So I guess I got to work on the rest of the producers around here to get some love, get some more airtime.
Get a little bit more schmear from the producers. Deal.
Exactly.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk next week.
All right. Have a good week, guys.